Hello everyone. Today is 13th of March 2021. This is a new series of discussions or musings about investment and trading. And these talks will be focused and tailored especially for people who have a wealth or investment capital between $10,000 and $500,000, as I have found that the most content around the web and on the professional services is focused on the people who have bigger wealth, and many people who are entering market today either with capital built in crypto market, or people who are fed up with the limitations of productive investments in the global economies. So this may be valuable for them as a tool for training their mind and helping them to navigate the investment world. So let's talk first about the mindset necessary to enter this space without harm into your life, and people need to be cautious before starting trading, even with a small amounts of money. Uh, it is very possible that it can overtake your mind, and it's very intensive type of work, and humans are challenged on millisecond basis when doing investments, and then later be confronted with the results of their decisions. Most of the people never made these kind of decisions before, and even though most of people think before entering the first trade that they are not afraid to lose money, and that they are ready for it. The ego of that wants to be right most of the time uh, is always there, and combined with the possible losses uh, can be demanding on the psyche of the people starting to make first investments. So the first thing to remember is to take it easy, and this is not something as a math that you can calculate going forward. It's more of like a casino, and people need to be ready to lose almost all the money they put into the market. And we will talk later what to do and to not get into these kind of situations, or possibly uh, have a strategy like a gambler where you go for having multiples of your capital, or on the other side losing all of the capital. Even that is a way how to invest or trade, depending on how old are you, or if it's something that you as a amount of money you depend on, or maybe it's an amount of money like when you are betting or sports. So it's more of a fun game with a higher potentiality what you can win in the end. And talking about the big opportunities, my thinking why I put a lot of time and effort into studying financial markets and investments is that through many mistakes and many tries to build some business, one needs to realize how hard and how time costly is to build even a small company or some future revenue stream or passive revenue stream, and not to say how to build multiples of these kinds of revenues sources. So my thinking is that until I have a passion like a Picasso or a love for some business idea that I naturally throughout the time want to execute, not for money but for the reasons to be fulfilled with my work, then the until I have this kind of uh, possibility in front of me. Financial markets are, in my opinion, and in terms of probability, uh, the biggest opportunity, even for people who don't feel that they are so-called smart enough to invest. I think investment is accessible to everyone. Everyone is using many products that they believe in, not because of some fate, but because they use them and they know that these products will have a demand. So they may start investing investments in these kind of companies they do understand. No one wants anyone to start investing in biotech or some complex types of companies or business models. But the the main point here is that I have realized that if I'm going to be able to put aside on a constant basis a certain amount of money and invest it in whatever companies we feel are fine or have a good future, uh, it is probably the best way how to multiply one's wealth because the energy one needs to put uh, a business together and to run it and to produce a revenue on a scale that these companies on the public market can do. It's an unbelievable effort. So I'm trying to find the easiest way how to build wealth. So when I arrive at the point where I have my passion and the business idea I want to invest time in, I will have the capital needed to do that, and investment portfolio that can help me survive times of uncertainty during building that business. Okay, so let's jump right to some practical topic. For a moment, imagine we have $10,000 that we can afford to lose. Uh, it's for sure we don't want to lose it, but it's great to have this mindset when starting doing the first investments. It sets the stage uh, for highly probable success in the long term if someone is only investing with money that he can lose in the beginning. For sure, when we earn $1 million from our small investments, uh, definitely there will be a change of a strategy. But with small amounts of money, we need to have a mindset that all the money we put into the market is for education purposes, and that if we lose the money, it was worth the learning, and this may help you survive many difficult times that will come with 100% certainty if you are going to invest for a long time. So everyone first needs to decide which market he wants to trade, and there are thousands of possibilities in every geography around the world, but I recommend to begin and possibly to stay uh, with trading instruments that are not leveraged, like forex or futures, and not start trading options or other more complex derivatives, because you can lose money much faster that way. And I believe that the stock market and individual companies are with their business ideas don't need any leverage to uh, bring you amazing performance. So I'm a guy that prefers to find companies that can grow 10 20 times in the range 3 to 5 or 3 to 10 years period, and where I know the trends and understand the fundamentals of those markets and the supply and demand metrics, and not to put money in, for example, futures where I could be last year, for example, long crude oil when it was almost on the zero level, and then wake up one morning with minus $40 per barrel price in the futures market and lose millions that I never really had before. So in the stock market, in the individual stock, not derivatives like CFDs on stocks, uh, I have much better confidence to trade there, because if I put $100 in the company, I can lose $100, but not more. So I believe this is the best way to start. You know how much you can lose, and you don't have to lose sleep over the positions, because waking up and owing money to your broker is not something you want to encounter when learning and investing. So, to close the first thinking session with some food for thought and some ideas for you to explore, I'm going to name the companies and the markets I'm invested in for a long term. I'm in them for several years, and I expect these trends to follow for next several years to come. So these are not investment ideas for you, but it's just an inspiration for markets where you can start to explore if there is something that interests you, or if there are some um, fundamentals or business models that will catch your heart, and you will on your own gain understanding of them, and build confidence to make these or other markets part of your portfolio. So I'm in only investing currently with my investment portfolio in markets where there are possibilities of 10 to 20 times uh, growth of smaller cap companies into the future. And so the biggest proportion of my investment, I'm not looking at my portfolio right now, but around 50% of it is the exposure towards cryptocurrency market, but not directly through investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum, as I didn't want to have a hassle with the wallets and new exchanges and technologies. But I have chosen a company which is building green energy facilities for mining these cryptocurrencies, and the name of the company is Hive Blockchain Technologies. They are one of the biggest publicly traded miners for Ethereum and Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. So this is one idea to explore or market to explore. There are many companies out there focused on this segment, and I have chosen this one especially because people are really fond of investing in green energy stuff today, even though I'm not fanatical about forcing the nature in some other direction with not fact-based approach, but the sentiment for these investments is definitely going to favor companies that are not wasting energies from not renewable sources. So that's my thinking there. Following after as a proportion of a portfolio is exposure to silver as a single position, not as a basket in a certain market. So there, in silver market, one of the biggest producers of silver, First Majestic Silver. That's one of my picks to have exposure for this future market where silver is not only the monetary metal, but at the same time is very precious in many applications, and especially going forward when the world is going to be fully digital and more electronics, cars and other systems will need these kinds of metals to build bigger infrastructure for the world to sustain these communications. So that's the idea there. I won't go today in this session in much greater detail. Then the biggest proportion of investment after Hive as a basket is in the uranium market, where I have three players. Cameco as a biggest publicly traded company in this segment, and not including Kazatomprom and companies with different ownership structures involving nations and countries. So Chemical, NextGen Limited, which is a company owning one of the biggest not developed and accessible resources of uranium. So that's a play for the future. And the last one in uranium segment is Uranium Energy Corp, a small uranium producer with its own processing facility for uranium in the US. And in the times when US is dependent on the Russian sources of uranium for the most part. So and that's that. And then I have a small investment in some gold companies like Amarillo, and that's about it. Maybe I forgot one, but this is one small portfolio, and we may talk later in different sessions. This is just for inspiration, not as an investment advice. As an idea to explore why maybe I'm invested in those markets, maybe start looking at these companies and their annual reports, so you can get the first glimpse of what they are trying to do as a business, and if it makes sense, and let me know which markets are you interested in, and what topic about investment or trading is needed to be better explored in basic terms, not sophisticated terms. And most importantly, remember that every one of us will die one day, and don't take it too seriously. It's just investing, and have fun.